here. But the point is that this can take a very long time. There is no way out of it. As another friend of mine, Lynn Alden, likes to say, nothing stops this train. And what does it all mean? So why do we care? Why do we care about all of this? Like, why are we talking about this? What does it matter? Well, it matters because they're spending so much money that they have absolutely no choice, because they're not going to cut expenses. They're not going to raise taxes. They're just going to keep issuing debt. And so it matters because they're going to keep expanding the money supply, which means that they're going to keep instituting inflation. So this all comes full circle to bring this home, to land this plane. This all comes full circle to why is the Fed cutting rates now when inflation is still high? Because they're not concerned about inflation being between 2 and 4%. They're only concerned when inflation runs so high that it looks bad and people lose confidence in the dollar. So they can't have an inflationary spike of 9, 12, 15, 20%. They don't want that. But to have 2 to 4%, that's fine. If they can get away with it, great. Because what that does is it perpetuates this whole system where they continue to issue debt, print dollars, pay off that debt with cheaper dollars in the future, and everybody's happy except the lower demographic who gets left behind.
Yeah, or bondholders.
Yeah, bondholders in that will. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be buying 30-year treasuries here. I just wouldn't. No. For a trade, maybe, but very short term. I would not be holding 30-year treasuries for long term here. Why? Because we know that you're going to get a negative real return on that. Inflation is going to be higher than those bonds will yield. How do we know that? Because if you look back, the average expansion of the money supply since 1971 is over 7%. That's a lot different than the reported CPI. And so that's why people feel this. So like, it doesn't feel like my groceries up 2%. It feels like they're up like 20% from last year and 40 or 50% from 2 years ago. And then you see everybody on TikTok showing buy now the same exact things that I bought 2 years ago. And oh my God, my grocery bill's up 50%, 100%. That's not fake. That's the reality. So, and that's because of the expansion of the money supply. You know, they've had a lot of bottlenecks in supply chains. The suppliers are having to pay a lot more for their largest input, which is employment, just to keep up with all of it. And so everything is more expensive. And that's just the reality.